that we should ever have a good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of government.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. I'm coming at you live from Austin, Texas. I'm traveling, so I don't have the normal green screen. Also, forgive my crappy internet, hotel internet. I was about to curse, but YouTube doesn't like that in the first 30 seconds. I caught myself. Anyways, today we have a very special show. Before we get to that, I want to say hello to the legendary Bitcoin Becca. How you doing?
Hi, Nico. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you. And of course, my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields.
What's up, Nico?
Are you feeling optimistic today,
Dude,
bro?
I am more optimistic than ever before. I am doubling down on the mission. Get on the mission. And Becca, good to have you here. You look wonderful today. I'm happy. This is going to be a good show.
It's going to be a great show. So there was some bombshell news we're going to get to. Samsung looks like it's launching a Bitcoin exchange in Korea. We're going to talk a little bit about that, what that means. Anyways, Opti, what do you have lined up for us during the culture?
Yes, I am going to cover that Greg Maxwell CSW thread that I mentioned last week on Friday. We're going to spread the signal. We're going to continue to help Hodlnaut, continue to push the Space Cat and defend BTC. So tune in. I got the receipts for you guys.
Tune in. Definitely tune in. Anyways, let's start the show. Number time. Brought to you by NODL. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. And if you're a digital nomad, you have no excuse, because now you could run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. At the time of this recording, the Bitcoin price is at 21,350 sats per dollar, also known as Moscow time, 4,684. Block height, 750,607. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 14,572. Blocks to the halvening, 89,393. Halving estimate, that day couldn't come any sooner. April 22nd, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,581. Capacity value, 97 million US dollars. Hash rate, 206 exahashes. Realized monetary inflation, we are taking the US dollar to school, 1.78%. Market capitalization, $408 billion with a B. But it's still, Bitcoin is still a freaking baby. Anyways, I got an interesting video for us to react to today. Do you guys know who Thomas Sowell is?
Legend.
Becca?
Legend.
Legend. Everyone agrees that he's a legend. If you haven't, definitely go to YouTube. There's some awesome channels that clip a lot of his bits and a lot of his interviews. This guy is like the original based guy. And he had some thoughts on the Federal Reserve. And the reason I'm going to play it, so for two reasons. First of all, first reason is you have another predominant figure saying to end the Fed. Remember, we played you the video by Steve Bannon last week. He gave this amazing speech about ending the Fed. Put the politics aside. We're not concerned about that. Fiat politics are garbage. And then we have Tim Pool, huge broadcaster, right? You have a lot of predominant people saying what needs to be said. We need to end the Fed. And here we have Thomas Sowell saying the same thing. But the thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is towards the end of the video, they asked him, so what would you replace it with? And he doesn't have an answer, because there hasn't been a good answer. A gold standard is not a good solution. As we know, it will inevitably be captured by governments, and they will start debasing the currency again, right? So we need to get to a Bitcoin standard, right? And that's the solution. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to play the video, and then we'll talk about it after the fact. Let's check it out.
If we could make you dictator, would you abolish the Fed?
Yes.
You would.
Yes, I mean, for the reasons I just gave, the history. There's no, the Fed represented wonderful hopes, but we've had so many programs that represented wonderful hopes that ended in disaster. I don't doubt that someone who is sufficiently scholarly could come up with examples of where the Federal Reserve made things better. But the question is, overall. What was it supposed to do? It was supposed to do not only prevent bank failures, it was supposed to prevent huge changes in the money supply, in particular, great deflations.
Right.
The greatest deflation in American history occurred under the Federal Reserve System. You know, there was a crisis in 1907. J.P. Morgan, the original J.P. Morgan, called the other bankers into a room, supposedly locked the doors, and said, "We got to do something, or we're going to all collapse." And they did something, and they didn't all collapse. But the progressives were shocked that one man could come in and take command of the situation, and especially someone who wasn't even in the government.
Right. So, so what would you do? You'd move us back to the gold standard, or you'd let banks issue their own currencies the way they did up through the Civil War? Say I could.
Well, they weren't doing any of those things as of the time the Federal Reserve was created. We were on the gold standard, though. But whether we're on or off the gold standard, that's another whole set of arguments. There's no evidence that I can see that over this vast period of time that the Federal Reserve has existed, that things on the whole have been better. The great post-World War II inflation was fed by the Federal Reserve doing exactly what they're planning to do now, namely buying up the bonds issued by the Treasury.
But what would you replace it with? How would the currency? How would the currency run?
We would replace it. We could replace it with what existed when it was created,
which was the gold standard.
Well, it may be the gold standard, but maybe not. But there's no evidence that what would you replace it things always bother me. You know,
they do?
When someone removes a cancer, what do you replace it with?
Okay.
So, right, interesting. Again, he took a little bit of a political view, right, blaming the progressives, right? So I have another angle to this. Why don't we just take the monetary policy out of the hands of humans altogether? Whether it's private people, whether it's government people, I think people are the problem, right? In this case, right, we have Bitcoin takes the monetary policy out of the hands of humans. We know the monetary policy of Bitcoin. It doesn't change. We know it for the next 100-something years, right? It is the solution here. You replace the Fed, same thing's going to end up happening, right? So you need to provide an alternative. And I really believe that Bitcoin is that alternative. And I think it's just a matter of time before this crowd of individuals, whether it's Jack Posobiec, Steve Bannon, Tim Pool, Thomas Sowell maybe is a little bit too old, before they start to realize, holy crap, we have an alternative. It already exists. It can't be corrupted. And most importantly, it becomes very hard. No, it's basically impossible to debase Bitcoin. You really have to convince the whole network to change the rules, right? It's very difficult when there's, tens of thousands of individuals running their own nodes, right? So anyways, I thought it was a good video to start Monday off with. Opti, what are your thoughts? And we'll move on to the legendary Bitcoin Becca.
Well, so much sauce in that clip, but the climax is very lackluster. And I was having this conversation with my roommates last night, and this is just further proof to me that we have the tools, guys. Bitcoin is righteous. Bitcoin, in my opinion, is literally divine. Like, we have been given the tools to take back our money and take back our life force. Like, what more can we ask? And it's, I say it all the time, it's upon us to spread the sound money gospel so that people understand that these tools are available, because most people know what the problem is, but they don't know that we have the solution and we have the tools to actually fix this. Bitcoin fixes this, guys. And furthermore, everyone go to YouTube after the show and watch more Thomas Sowell clips. He destroys basically every economic FUD line that you might get against Bitcoiners and mainstream narratives that you see all the time on the news. He just destroys them, but he doesn't have the solutions, and we do. It is Bitcoin. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Anyways, Becca, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you guys. Like, Bitcoin is, going to fix it. And when he was talking, like, it just reminded me, like, software is eating everything, and Bitcoin is software money. And it just kind of naturally makes sense that it's just going to take over, like, what the past, the legacy system and the way that we, how fiat has ruined it, that Bitcoin and the software and technology is going to fix it. And it's going to be like level the playing field for everyone. Because like you guys are saying, like, why is it that these this one person or this small group of people get to dictate what happens with our life force, the life force that each one of us as an individual goes out there and creates. It shouldn't be that, Christine Lagarde or, Jay Powell can just say, oh yeah, we're going to go print, who cares about the energy, the proof of work that you've done? We're just going to override that. So
exactly. I think that hit the nail on the head, right? Every time the government prints, what they're doing is they're stealing from you. They could dress it up and put a bow tie on a pig, but the fact is that every time they print, whether you agree with it or not, they're printing and they're sending $500 billion to Ukraine. They don't have that money. They print it, which means that they're stealing from you in the process, that's what Bitcoin is a protest against. And that's why we believe that Bitcoin is just a better alternative to central banking. Just take away the central aspect of it. It's no longer necessary. It's what Becca was saying about this technology, their technology being obsolete. And they don't realize it because they're incentivized not to realize it, because their whole career and purpose depends on Bitcoin not succeeding, even though it helps a lot more people than central banking will ever do, right? But anyways, let's move on to the news. We got some awesome news today. Let's check it out. Daily news. Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, from node cases to key rings to the vents on the back of your ASIC for air management, and of course the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy, which comes in any custom color your heart desires. You want it in gold? They make it in gold. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. All right. So, very, very bullish Monday. Absolutely huge news coming out. But first, I want to take you guys on a tale, because it's very difficult when you're lost in, the price volatility on the day-to-day. Sometimes it's very hard to zoom out on the macro. But all these things have happened in the last 2 years alone, and that makes me incredibly bullish on Bitcoin. So I'll take you guys on this chronological order, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Samsung produced 3 nanometer chips that can be used for Bitcoin mining. So first, Samsung announced that it's going to make Bitcoin miners. Samsung is a massive company, but it wasn't only Samsung. It was also Intel. Intel announced the Intel block scale ASIC that was supposedly energy efficient, and it was going to help people with the climate and with Bitcoin and with all that stuff. So now we have Samsung and Intel making Bitcoin miners. Holy crap. But it wasn't only that. This is Russia's Gazprom. Gazprom is Russia's state-owned natural gas company, and they sell a lot of that natural gas to Europe. It's a massive, massive company. Before this whole, situation in Ukraine happened, if you look at any of the soccer games over in Europe and you look at the sides, when they put the sponsorships on those little boards on the side of the field, Gazprom was always one of the sponsors. It's a massive, massive company. If you live in Europe, you definitely know what it is. Anyways, so Gazprom announces it's mining Bitcoin, but it's not only Gazprom, it's also ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is a giant company here in the US. They're an energy company, and they also announced that they are mining Bitcoin in North Dakota. So to recap, right, you have Intel and Samsung making Bitcoin miners. You have Exxon and Intel saying that they're mining Bitcoin. This all happened this year, even with, or basically in the last year or so, even with Bitcoin going down 70%, all of these things still happened. How could you not be bullish? And today, the big news of the day was this article by CoinDesk. 7 South Korean brokerages plan to start Bitcoin and shitcoin exchanges next year. 7 large traditional brokerages in South Korea have started laying out the groundwork for their own Bitcoin and shitcoin exchanges in the first half of next year. The firms have applied for a preliminary approval and establishment of corporations to run virtual asset exchanges. Mirror Asset Securities, and Samsung Securities are among the 7 firms the newspaper reported, citing anonymous industry sources. Myri has established a subsidiary under its affiliate Myri Consulting, which is hiring technical staff for various Bitcoin and shitcoins and NFTs, while Samsung is studying how to enter the blockchain-based security tokens market. So it looks like they want to sell some shitcoins. At the end of last year, Samsung could not find staff to build their trading platform. Anyways, absolutely massive. Samsung is a massive, massive company. It's a massive corporation. They make a crap ton of things. Like they make, TVs, they make LEDs, they make, sometimes the routers. They make a lot more things than you're aware of. They make fridges. They make a lot of crap. And anyways, for them in the last 2 years alone, to say that not only are they making mining chips, but now they actually want to sell Bitcoin, the writing is on the wall that this thing is inevitable. The incentives are irresistible. And remember, with the government central bank digital currencies, they won't adapt. These companies, they won't sell it because they want to sell it. They'll sell it because they'll be coerced to sell it by governments. Now, here's the thing that we always say on this show, that incentives are stronger than coercion. And this time is no different. Here you have Bitcoin's incentives and the parasitic shitcoins, leeching onto that hype train behind it. And there you have it. It's working its magic. Without a CEO, without marketing, without government coercion, it's just saying, yo, do you want to take it? Do you want to benefit from Bitcoin too? You're going to have to get on the train, brother, right? So this is why I believe Bitcoin will win long term. The incentives are stronger than anything that central bank digital currencies will throw at us. And this is why I believe long term we will win. But this is massive news. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Now Samsung is not only making Bitcoin mining chips, now they're planning to sell Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin as well, right? Which is incredibly bullish. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts? And we'll pass it on to Becca.
Well, you've been watching this closely, and what more can I say, man? But first of all, Samsung, it's Bitcoin, not shitcoin, but you can't stop the signal. And like we say all the time, Bitcoin's incentives stay winning. And it's just further proof that Bitcoin will overtake everything, and it's just a matter of time. Free market money stays winning, and here's just further proof, guys, that we are on the righteous path. Continue to double down. Do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt what we're doing here, because Bitcoin stays winning. Bitcoin is, and that's all that matters.
Bitcoin is, and that's all that matters. Becca, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, the free market is going to speak, right? And where the incentives are good for business, they're going to go there. Regardless, they're capitalistic. They're not to, they're trying to further their market share and, for their shareholders and all that. But you can't stop where the incentives are good. That's where they're going to go. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. I think this is just the beginning. I think it's going to get even crazier. But anyways, I got some Opti news for today. Opti loves this type of stuff. Check this out. Controlling crypto. Use can make the internet safer, says UN executive. Remember, the UN is also, they also released an article, a paper that said that we have to stop developing countries from adopting cryptocurrencies, right? These people are not your friends. And anyways, it sucks for them because Nico, like always, brings the receipts. Check it out. United Nations Executive Director of Drugs and Crime Office, Ghada Wali, has suggested that controlling how cryptocurrencies are used can partly contribute to making the internet safer. That's right, guys. We have to make the internet safer by controlling cryptocurrencies. Yeah, anyways. Speaking during a sessions with the World Economic Forum, weird how that for some reason. And that's weird because remember how we covered that fact-checked article, and for some reason, a person from the United Nations was also on the World Economic Forum podcast, and they were talking about how they wanted to control speech to make the internet safer. So they want to control things that they can't control. Why? Anyways, Well, we all know why. Wally noted that the focus should be on probing how digital assets are used illegally. Notably, amid the growth of cryptocurrencies, various assets have been utilized in illegal vices like the purchase of drugs and money laundering. You know what sucks for these people? Is that now you could do a simple Google search and you can realize how much they're bullshitting you. Anyways, which is why they're so hell-bent on wanting to control the narrative. Check out this article from Bitcoinist. It says a report from the International Narcotics Control Board, maybe they probably know some things about illegal drugs, that Bitcoin is not the preferred method for drug cartels and other criminal groups to launder money. They rather use, wait for it, banks. This opposes the widespread narrative that claims the digital coin creates the opportunity for crime. But it's not only that, guys. A new report by the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecom, most of you guys know it as SWIFT, says cryptocurrency is seldom used for money laundering activities compared to fiat and other traditional methods. Despite the perception that crypto assets are preferred haven for illegally acquired funds, criminals prefer to launder proceeds through mules, front companies, or cash businesses, as well as investing into crime. Identified cases of laundering through cryptocurrencies remain relatively small compared to the volumes of cash laundered through traditional methods. Money laundering remains a huge problem for economies throughout the world, according to the UN. Even the UN. UN's Office on Drugs, you're owning them with their own receipts. Around 800 billion to 2 trillion, or the equivalent between 2 to 5% of global GDP, is laundered through cash channels each year, but crypto does not feature predominantly. But why does this lady still want to say we can control things by going after crypto? I'll redefine it. They can't control you if they use Bitcoin. And that's what this is about. The same reason, but they said, hey, we have to control speech for your safety. No. They can't control you if you decide to do your own research. If they can't control the narrative, they can't control what you're thinking. If they can't control the money you use, then they can't control you. If you actually look at the receipts, their receipts coming from them, it even says that the majority of money laundering and crime and drugs is used through cash. Bitcoin is a public ledger that lasts for the rest of time. The evidence will be there forever. In cash, you give someone a $100 bill, that's not tracked, that's not traceable, right? So cash is obviously a much better tool. But of course, that doesn't fit their narrative. They can't control you if that's the case. They need a boogeyman. Just like the Treasury used the North Koreans to arrest an open source developer, to sanction open source technology, even though we know for a fact the majority of Tornado Cash users were not linked to crime. It was only that 10%. So why are we paying the consequences for 10% of those transactions being linked to crime? What is going on here? They need an excuse to control this thing. They need an excuse to go after speech. Don't fall for it, because we always bring the receipts. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts?
Well, Nico Jones with the receipts. It's a good Monday. We're starting off strong, but of course we see this framing. Like, is anyone surprised by this? It's like I said it last week. It's like we don't even have to read these articles because we already know what they're going to be saying. And it's like every single time it's like the same 4 points. But it's just further proof to me that the small cabal of parasites are terrified. Like, you are the light that puts the fear of God in them, in their cold little hearts. Like, Bitcoin is fuck you money. Like, fuck you. You can't control me. And they need an excuse. So they will pick on the bad apples and try to make us all look like criminals. But we know what time it is. Like, we are just average, everyday people that are tired of getting stolen from, and we are doing our best to protect ourselves, our individual selves, and our family and friends. Like, do not fall for this narrative. Privacy is not a crime. You know, saving storing your wealth and your life force is not a crime. Do not fall for these narratives. This is why we show up every single day and counter this stuff, because it's absolute BS, and someone's got to do it, because we got to spread the good word of Bitcoin. Like I said in the first section, we have the tools to fix this. Feature, not a bug, guys. Stay positive. We are winning.
We are winning. Absolutely right. Becca.
Yeah.
Are we building? Are we
We're
building,
building.
Becca?
I am building. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah, from these guys, these centralized parasites, like everything's always for your safety, because you are not capable to live your own life by your own rules according to them. They need to tell you how to live your life, what you can eat, where you can poop, how much, if you can even shower. Like, we're not even allowed to do that anymore. We have to wash ourselves with rags. So it's always for your safety. You don't know what you're doing, so just listen to them, okay? That's
Yep, exactly. And Bitcoin is a threat to that. Free speech is a threat to that, which is why they're so hell-bent on destroying those things. And it's what you said, Becca. They use the guise of, this is for your safety. Without us, the world will burn down. This is why you have to give us more power and more control. And they're not even fact-based. They don't care. No. They're just like, just give it to us. We deserve it because, I'm Augustus Carson. And I've eaten every person. That's why.
I'm Christine Lagarde. I wear silk
Christine Lagarde. It's me. We must shut down the escape valve. Anyways, we have awesome culture. Let's check it out. Daily Culture. Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. Swan incentivizes self-custody, and they also incentivize dollar cost averaging. Spread out that risk. Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. Also, check out Pacific Bitcoin. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference on the West Coast. It's November 10th through the 11th. Opti and I are probably going to do a surprise appearance. Speaker list includes also Corey Clipston, Alex Epstein, Jan Pritzler, Jeff Booth, Dylan Leclerc, Pierre Richard, Mark Moss, Alex Gladstein, Jeff Ross, and many, many more. You definitely don't want to miss Pacific Bitcoin, and you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off using the promo code SIMPLY.
Let's go. All right, guys. So remember how I finish Friday's episode, or was it Saturday? I forget. Lost in Bitcoin time. Only no block height. Anyways, I quoted this Beauty on tweet, and I'm going to give you guys the receipts. I might read a little more because there's a lot of good points in this thread. So this is Beauty on quoting Greg Maxwell, prolific Bitcoin core dev, but prolific Bitcoin dev at large. And the quote is the Bitcoin community boundlessly willing to attack itself, but far more indifferent when it comes to external threats? So guys, I got the thread here. I'm going to read a little bit because I think people need to hear this stuff. And he lays it out so good. Remember last week we gave you the chronological order of this HODL not versus fake Toshi, and now we got more receipts. So this is Greg Maxwell, again, Bitcoin dev. If you don't know who he is, you need to do some more research. Anyways, it would be difficult to overstate how important this is to Bitcoin, the fight of HODL not versus fake Toshi, yet it is often underestimated. A con man who can't even program and muddles even the basics of Bitcoin tech started claiming he created Bitcoin to try to get out of trouble after he engaged in a long-running multi-million-dollar tax fraud, which has ended in police raids at his house. On several occasions, he's claimed he would provide proof of his claims, but the proof he provides just gets proven to be forgeries. At one junction, he provided a list of specific Bitcoin addresses and got shown to be a fraud. I have the receipts, so you'd think that would be the end of it, but no, the tax fraud set off an improbable series of forced moves as he then needed to repay the tax authorities to get them off his trails, and so he claimed he possessed 1.1 million Bitcoins locked in a trust controlled by a bonding carrier that would be released. It never got released. Anyways, now you might be thinking, all this sounds tragic for his victims and their families, but why should it concern me? And indeed, for a long time it didn't, and so almost anyone of any competence just ignored him. Unfortunately, this gave him and his cohorts significant control of the media narrative through constant events, press releases, and bought and paid for outlets. The world has been split into two groups. Ones that don't know any better and will repeat his claims with minimal skepticism, and people who know that they don't want to go anywhere near it. As a result, the first group sets the public narrative. Okay, hold on. His vexatious litigation has made the Bitcoin white paper unavailable to people in the UK. And if you're in the UK, you might get a forgery with his name on it. To substantiate his pineapple hat claims, he filed a lawsuit against dozens of developers and tried to distribute a version of Bitcoin with a cryptographic backdoor, which allows him to seize coins he claimed to have lost. To anyone with expertise in Bitcoin, it's obvious why the demand can't work. Users simply wouldn't choose to run such a version and would run alternatives or stay on old versions. But the courts aren't Bitcoin experts and seem happy to provisionally take right to words for it that it would work and not immediately dismiss the case on the basis of its obvious impossibility. Guys, this is why we tell you guys to continuously run a node, use a node, verify your transactions with your own node. As Nico always says, run the software and vote for the rules that you want to be running. This is why you use a node, because you need to verify your transactions from the Genesis block so you do not get hoodwinked by people trying to backdoor Bitcoin. Anyways, when people talk about Bitcoin being robust and safe from attack, this isn't some magical property that exists in a vacuum. Part of what makes it strong, it's its community. It's protected because its community follows their self-interest and acts to protect it. Sometimes that protection comes in the form of developers engineering excellent security technology, but sometimes what's needed is political, public relations, or legal aid. All the amazing technology in the world can't help if people don't get access to it. What did I just say today, guys? We know the problems, but people don't know that there is a solution. This is why you guys are on the front line. This is why you guys continue to meme. Anyways, the deck is stacked enormously against HODL, but let's just hope that this proves once again that he is a fraud. Rights fraud is an attack on Bitcoin, not conjecture or hypothetical attack, but a real one that has already done significant damage. I'm confident that this is an attack Bitcoin will survive because I'm confident that when people will stand up to fight for it and not wait forever to be solved by the invisible hand without realizing that each one of us is the invisible hand. But helping HODL continuous fight is merely necessary. It's not sufficient. It's unlikely that right will be stopped by even a complete victory by HODL, only slowed down. But in spite of the vastness of the Bitcoin, our community doesn't appear to be that well politically connected, but not that well isn't not at all. There are some of us that know people with the power to do something here or have it themselves. It's time to start some of these conversations. Guys, I say it all the time. Continue to orange pill, continue to spread the sound money gospel. And I'm not going to read all this because it's already taken a little more time than I thought. But here is, I think, the meat of this post, and this is the message that I think we need to continue to spread. Speaking personally, the fact that the community clearly will say, man, he's just a troll, ignore him, while right goes from target to target, financially ruining them, blind to the damage because he smells like an internet troll, actually makes him more of a concerning threat than many kinds of attack by the U.S. government, which we can trust would get a vigorous defense. How much ink was spilt over some utterly mind-numbing minutia about taproot activation, yet an attacker that has bankrupted multiple community members and arguably driven out a majority of the remaining over 10-year developers, removed the white paper and most well-known software site from a major country, and can conceivably take over most of the normie download sites, if not combated. That really seems like a deeply misplaced priorities or even an autoimmune illness. Is the Bitcoin community boundlessly willing to attack itself, but far more indifferent when it comes to external threats? If we walk past each threat on the basis that something else provides protection, then eventually there would be nothing left. We don't have a strong ability to measure Bitcoin's social political safety margin, so conservative engineering says we should try to provide plenty of slack, and letting right run roughshod over parts of the community isn't that. So let's bring some of these receipts. And as I said in the beginning of this post, remember that he tried to provide a list of Bitcoin addresses. And these addresses, as you can see in this tweet, 145 wallets that were first created in 2009 suddenly popped up in May of 2020, all claimed by Craig Wright, sent this message. Craig Stephen Wright is a liar and a fraud. He doesn't have the keys used to sign this message. The Lightning Network is a significant achievement. However, we need to continue work on improving on-chain capacity. Unfortunately, the solution is not just to change a constant in the code or to allow powerful participants to force out others. We are all Satoshi. We are all Hodlnaut. And I put the thread that Fractal Encrypt put on Twitter so that you guys, if you don't like to go Reddit, you can just read it on Twitter. And then furthermore, of course, I'm going to add some dunks in here. Shouts out to HODLNet, still fighting the good fight. And we saw this response by Calvin Ayre on that Fractal Encrypt tweet thread that I just posted. And he responds, "This is funny. I know Craig's mom and she thinks Craig is brilliant and confirms that it was him that invented Bitcoin. Greg is just a scum to be trying to paint Craig's mother like this." Guys, I didn't bring up the article, but his mom himself said that he is a liar and likes to spread the truth, to stretch the truth. Forgive me, stretch the truth. Anyways, HODL now, breaking. Craig's mom thinks Craig is brilliant and confirms he invented Bitcoin. And since we have Becca here, I had to add Becca's tweet. Breaking. My mom thinks I'm regarded too. Amazing, amazing. Okay. And then some silver lining in here, guys. Over the weekend, we saw an outpour of you guys, the Bitcoiners, supporting the Space Cat, supporting HODLNOT in the hashtag We Are All HODLNOT. And so we got this awesome news, guys. To everyone that has donated or helped spread the word so far, thank you so much. Seeing plebs dig deep to help is extremely humbling. Much love and respect. Defending BTC.com. As you can see, we have raised 52.679 Bitcoin plus 30K with a total of 1,891 donations. And then furthermore, a one person or company or group donated 47 Bitcoins over the weekend, stepping up like that with no desire for clout or recognition, just wanting to help without anyone knowing. This is extremely Bitcoin. Love you, my anonymous brothers and sisters. Guys, I say it all the time, man. Like, you guys spreading the positivity, spreading the love, holding your brother down is absolutely why Bitcoin will win. Lock shields with your brothers that you know have principles, that you know are out here and actually good people. You don't have to like all Bitcoin maximalists. I'm on my King Pleb, Mr. HODL vibe where like, yo, I don't have to like all Bitcoiners, but Bitcoin is for enemies. Bitcoin is for anyone. And if you are on the fight, if you're on the mission of spreading Bitcoin, then I will lock shields with you, because if you have integrity and principles, this is what it's all about. Bitcoin is a social movement. And guys, you got to run the software. You got to use the software. You got to verify your transactions, because this is the shit where you can get hoodwinked. Remember what we just been covering last week about ETH nodes. This is an actual social attack on Bitcoin. And I'm just inspired to see all of our brothers and sisters out there standing behind the Space Cat. I love all you guys changing your avatars on Twitter. We are all HODLNOT. Shouts out to the Space Cat. I'm counting down on the time when we can get this behind you, bro, and you can get your life back. We are all HODLNOT. Let's go, guys. Continue to donate. Continue to spread this signal. We got about, a few weeks left before the court. So continue to spread and support the Space Cat. Shouts out to you, HODLNOT. Godspeed, my brother.
Amen, dude. Amen. Yeah, dude, look, the attack on the Space Cat is an attack on all Bitcoiners. CSW is trying to silence Bitcoiners through fear and intimidation. We must stand in solidarity with the Space Cat, because think about it. If he's able to successfully silence the Space Cat, even though Space Cat has put in, according to him, millions of dollars are in already, he could silence anybody, right? People are going to be afraid to speak up, especially in Europe. Europe isn't quite protected by the First Amendment like the United States, right? So yeah, this is a crazy fight. I think that seeing the community rally behind, and someone actually donated 47 Bitcoin to the defense, which is absolutely unbelievable. This is what Bitcoin's all about, right? And that person that donated that 47 Bitcoin, he didn't even take credit for it, right? Which is absolutely beautiful. And I think that people underestimate how important this is, right? We have the chance through this court case in Norway to expose this guy for what he is, right? If you look at what the judge said in the Klein case in Florida, he specifically said that CSW lied, that he misrepresented some things. The case against Peter McCormack in the UK, the reason that the judge Judge Chamberlain only awarded CSW a pound is because he said the exact same thing. Hey, you lied under oath. This isn't cool, right? So this is what this is about. We must stand in solidarity. This is about, standing together with the community to defeat this guy that has savagely gone after everybody to pump his own BSV bags. If people think that guy's actually Satoshi, think about it. People are just like, wow, I'm going to buy Satoshi's vision. It's in the freaking name, right? So this is what really this is about, and I hope that, the Space Cat is able to raise the 2 million, I think was his goal. And it looks like he's definitely on the right track, but we have to keep on pushing. We can't lose focus. We have to get over the hill, and then we could celebrate afterwards. Anyways, Becca, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. It's we all need to stand together. An attack on HODL is an attack on all of us. So it's really great to see the whole community come together, lock arms, like Opti said, and all the fundraisers that are going on. It's just so fantastic. It's really heartwarming to see. So, we just got to keep on fighting. Got to keep on fighting. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Anyways, it's our favorite time of the show. This is when it happens. This is the actual signal. It's time for some memes. Let's check. Daily Meme Review. Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. This is the artwork for volume 11. This is the artwork for volume 10. And this is the artwork for volume 2. Volume 2 is almost sold out because there's only 1,000 physical copies made per volume. So get your prints of Citadel 21 today before they run out.
Let's go. All right, guys. So, of course, put your meme review score in the chat after the memes, or maybe during the memes, so we don't have that silence of you guys.
that awkward 10-second silence, like waiting for some memes to review.
Exactly.
Just to score.
All right, guys. So the first one is by my friend Don Selly, or Don't Sell, and it is spaghetti with some action heroes protecting the noob, and it's mainstream media FUD and the maximalist trying to do its best to protect the noob so he doesn't get wrecked. This is literally what we try to do. This is what we do every day. We show up every single day to do this, because if not you, then who? Anyways, we dropped this article today. That time a United States president told the central bank, go fuck yourself. At one time, strong men were leaders who stood on principle and did what they thought would preserve the integrity and liberty of the people they represented. Mika dropped this nuke, and I dropped another nuke. And then art designed by San Francisco, or SF, dropped this epic meme on us. And it's a nuke with the Bitcoin logo on it on planet Earth.
By the way, definitely go scroll up, Opti. Definitely go check out that article. Opti, the artwork, now he's just doing memes, which I absolutely love. Check it out. Subscribe to www.simplybitcoin.news. It is the written form of Simply Bitcoin. It's the written signal of the video content that we do for you guys.
Dropping bombs. We're dropping these Bitcoin nukes on planet Earth to spread the sound money gospel. Absolutely beautiful. And then I brought this meme from Rothmas just to continue the culture that I did last week on Saturday, that I had just so much fun. I got really good response on that one. And so we got a Chad Yes guy, and he goes, 200 years ago, 85% of the world lived in extreme poverty. Today, that number is less than 9%. Capitalism is good. It is not evil, but
oh God.
I don't even know what you'd call this thing, but capitalism is failed.
Oh man! All right, so for our lefty friends, I know we got a lot of. I know you got underneath a lot of people when you said that, Opti. For our lefty friends, we believe that Bitcoin fixes the problems, whether you want to fix the problems with socialism or capitalism, right? There's a lot of big believers. Bitcoin fixes all these things.
Bitcoin fixes this. Yes.
Opti's being a savage. I like it.
Okay. And I told you we have the receipts. And again, this is the Calvin Ayers saying that I know Craig's mom and she thinks he's brilliant. Well, we got at Digitails going, this is funny, clown, and we got the article in here. The Satoshi Affair, Andrew O'Hagan on the many lives of Satoshi Nakamoto. Wright's mother had told me about her son's long-standing habit of adding bits onto the truth just to make it bigger. When he was a teenager, he went into the back of a car on his bike. It threw him through the window of a parked car. That's where his scars come from. I'm not going to read it all, but here we got the meme right here. And this is by Peter Scott Morgwine. And we got the Calvin Ayres tweet. And then we got like the Titanic. I want you to paint me like your French girls, Greg. And then like a really bad painting with the Leonardo DiCaprio, Django meme and Greg Maxwell. There you go, Miss Wright.
Dude, that is absolutely hilarious. Wow.
Savage. And then shouts out to Seg Youngelman. He hosts a great podcast, Bitcoin Matrix. And he goes, hashtag Bitcoin facts. And it's a lady saying, should the government, ... and a guy walking away, nope, non-starter. Anytime someone says the government should, ignore anything after that moment because, hey, I don't know about you, but I don't like anyone telling me what to do. This is why I hold Bitcoin. Fuck you, money. Go fuck yourself. Anyways, Ding Dong 3001 continues to lay fire memes. I love his aesthetic, so you'll probably see him more and more every single day. But he goes, I'm off for a few days. Good night, legends. And we got this picture, pleb life, the joy of hodling. And we got a guy in nature just enjoying life, providing value. Well, not here, but he's enjoying life and stacking sats. Find Bitcoin Zen, guys, and you too can enjoy the beauty of nature. And furthermore, Ryan continues to double down with tweets, and he just goes, all caps divine, and it's a hand coming out from the ether, from the sky, God himself handing us down Bitcoin. Beautiful, beautiful. I say what you want, but this is what I fundamentally believe, guys. So again, put your meme review score, and my meme review score today is this absolutely delicious elk jerky that my roommate got, and honestly surprised how delicious this is. I'll have to find the brand for you guys, but it is so good. Absolutely delicious.
Hell yeah. That looks, I'm just looking at it. It looks delicious. It looks delicious. I was at a beefsteak last night, and that still looks, I want to eat it. That's how good it looks. Anyways, so for those memes, I'm going to give it this half full Fiji bottle and my shitty hotel room in Austin, Texas. All right, there I go. See? Look, Sophie's on the bed. There you go. Right. So that's my meme score. Anyways,
Love
Becca,
it.
what would you give those memes?
I'm gonna give these memes a custom yellow sculpture.
Wow. Wow.
Custom, one of a kind. This is even more scarce than Bitcoin.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yellow must be so proud. That's incredible score. Anyways, guys, we want to know, rate the meme. We already got some scores. Let's go through them. First, so I'm going to ask Becca to read them. Change it up. I am building. Okay, let's check it out.
I am building. Okay, let's see.
I popped it up on the screen, Becca. I popped it up on the screen.
Oh, okay. I give those memes an empty Duncan's cup. Excellent. Good
Very
stuff.
nice.
Let's see. I give those memes Moscow time. Love it. What else? Okay, I give these memes a squeegee.
Very nice.
Not bad. And I give these memes an I am building. Becca soundboard. I am building.
All right. Any rug? Let's check it out.
Okay, how about my car keys?
Very good. Very good.
And I give these memes a hashtag I am building.
Wow, Becca, you're famous, Becca. All right, Narwhal Taco.
I will give them my unfinished Japanese class homework. Arigato.
Gozaimasu. All right.
I give them this burnt out ECM blower motor.
Very nice. All right, last one. Last one.
9 out of 9 strands of Becca's luscious hair. Yes,
Oof.
thank you. Also
Oof.
very scarce.
Very, 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 very great meme scores. Before we go, guys, before we move to the open source software release, I want to give a shout out to Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. To join it, shout out producer Jacob for this idea. T.me/the Simply Bitcoin channel. That's where you could link us Bitcoin memes to review, and we will review them on the meme review. Also, you could tag us on Twitter. We will always try to get to it. But anyways, there was an interesting software release today. Let's check it out. Bitcoin software release brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that stores their Bitcoin seed on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage, dog attacks, everything. Your seed can be eaten by dogs or cats or animals if you store it on paper. You definitely want to store your seed on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the CipherSafe. Get yourself a Cipher wheel or a Cipher grid today. Visit ciphersafe.io.
All right, boys and girls, we have version 0.0.110 of the Lightning Dev Kit, Rust Lightning Dev Kit, and we got API updates, bug fixes. This looks like a huge update, guys. So if you are a Lightning Dev Kit, man, we got a solid update out here. To build, we are all building. I am building. So, guys, of course, remember to listen to us on the Google platform, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, and of course, we are on Fountain app. So I think we're providing value. Stream us some sats and show us some love. Anyways, Nico, let's roll this one out, bro.
Let's roll it out. Before, we're going to give a very special shout out to our awesome clothing sponsor, RepresentLTD.com. They make some of the best merch. Opti's wearing the Represent Trust No One with the orange pill. I'm wearing the, the classy black and white text hoodie. It's stylish, it's comfy. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off RepresentLTD.com. I also want to give a very special shout out to our awesome guest, the legendary I Am Building Bitcoin Becca. How you doing, Becca?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, you guys. Lots of fun.
And where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter, Ghost of Becca. I'm there. Also, BT Weekly Gossip. New issue will be released this week, so keep an eye out for that.
I definitely recommend it. It's awesome. If you want to know the gossip that's going down on Bitcoin Twitter, definitely go check out Bitcoin Becca's work. She is always building. Anyways, guys, that was Simply Bitcoin. Forgive me. I'm traveling at the moment, so I don't have the green screen. The internet might be a little but I will be back in Puerto Rico in a couple days. The internet and the green screen will be back. Thank you so much for joining us. It really helps us if you smash that like button. If you really, really like the show, definitely consider sharing with your friends. Share the signal. Help with the Bitcoin revolution. And of course, if you really find what we say valuable, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. Guys, I'm going to try to make it to tomorrow's episode, but I might be on a flight. I will keep you updated, but I will 100% be back on Wednesday. We love you all, and thank you for tuning in to an episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.